it. They hate to shoot us for you because they hate to see me lit. Pull your contract because we gotta see the split. The way you doing splits, now you pant my whip. What a fucking this is. I listen to push-ups. I'm listening to music I have music playing all day, every day, all the time. As soon as what time are we on now? 10 to 10. 10 to 10. That's cowboy time, isn't it? 10 to 10. 10 to 10. Yeah. 10 to 10 and I'm listening to music. I've been down here since about 8:30 blasting to my neighbours from 30, you know, because that speaker's a serious speaker. It's one of them speakers. This is supposed to be fucking. I've done this. I've done one of these because last night I did a live chat, and I wanted to talk about Liverpool in the league more than anything, but I also wanted to talk heavily about Eubank Benn. I'm so excited for Eubank Benn, and I talked about it for about 2 minutes at the end. And someone even asked for us to talk about it. Flicked it on the screen, talked about it for a second, and thought, nah, let's just get back to the league for a bit, and never got back to it. And I have consumed everything about Eubank Benn. Everything. When I say everything, I mean literally. I said it yesterday. Then I had the fucking ceremonial weigh-ins, the whole show Sky have done. Every single day this week, I've watched Sonny Edwards and Matt Macklin and whoever the host, I still don't know who the host is, talk. Matt Macklin and Sonny Edwards are fucking hilarious. They're sick because Matt Macklin's son, one of the lads, speaks like one of the lads. Isn't like a imagine if like. Do you know how this Chef Clark? I've never been exposed to him really before. You know how this Chef Clark's behaving, like the way he speaks and that. Could you imagine him as a doing like that job, like a punditry job, like grating on you and how annoying he'd be? Matt Macklin is smooth talking. I think the Birmingham. I feel like that's definitely another thing. The Birmingham accent where I used to criticise it just because I think everyone on Twitter criticised it. Well, or maybe it just sounds all right. Matt Macklin. What other famous Birmingham people are there with a Birmingham accent that sound? No, because then you think of people like Sam Eggington. He's from Birmingham and he sounds awful. Jack and I don't think Jack Grealish sounds that bad. I think Jack Grealish's accent makes him sound funny. Maybe and Matt Macklin sounds sound. He sounds. You know what I was watching the thingy yesterday. I stoned in the gym on the treadmill watching the. It would have been the press conference, but the press conference show with them. And I was thinking, do Irish people hate Matt Macklin because his accent slips so much? I don't know why. And then I realised that was one of the things that he pretended to be Irish when he was fucking boxing. He's like born, lived everything in Birmingham, and he's not Irish at all. That's my second coffee of the day. My first coffee coming down because obviously last night I ate a lot of food. I ate a lot of food last night after that live chat. Like record levels of food. This thing's too low. Like record level. This is my pajama top. Record lows. That's when that box does see. And do you know, I think iWatches are just the sickest thing ever because you can read a full message that comes through, but you don't have to act like you've read it. You don't have to click it or anything. So I'm busy now, but I can read it quickly like that just on my arm. I don't have to open my phone, which is that can be a whole full thing with your password and everything. Watches are fucking sick. What we're saying then, it doesn't matter. Let's go back to Eubank and Benn. So I can't wait for it. I'm buzzing for it. And it's mad because when the first fight got made, maybe it's the hatred now. Maybe when the first fight got made, I was not asked at all. And I remember that fight week, like I would have definitely watched it and sat down and watched it, but I wasn't invested in it at all. And then I remember it falling through. I felt like I heard it fell through Twitter first. See, if something like that happened now, mate, I'd just like someone would tell me and my mind would be blown. But I used to find absolutely everything out on Twitter hours before. And I remember hearing it fell through and I was like, wow, that's mad. But I feel like it was more fun that Conor Benn had failed a drug test and I was asked about the fight, if that makes sense. It was going to be more fun terrorising Conor Benn about the drug test, about failing the drug test, and I was really even bothered about the do you know what? Oh no, I don't know. There might be no sound on this, you know. I might do this whole thing and there might be no sound. I'm just gonna pray and hope there's sound because there might not be. I've just realised that thing's not been on the microphone thing. Yeah, I weren't really asked about the fight and now I can't wait. But I think it is that hatred thing now. They actually like I think because Eubank loves fucking money. That's my worry about him, is he's shot to bits, and that's why he's just thought, make this Benn fight as quick as possible. as like the biggest possible. There's no other cash out for him, because he could have fought for the world title again, couldn't he? But I think he'd get beat because Liam Smith smoked him in the first one, right? And he was the bigger man than Liam Smith, and that you got to think about that. I like Liam Smith. I pray he wins today. And I wanted him to beat Chris Eubank as well. Obviously, that was a sick result when he beat Chris Eubank. Actually, I remember it. Like, who did I watch that with? And we were buzzing for it. The arena looked like it went off as well. And you thought you would have more fought him. Smith versus Eubank. I feel like you would think the fans would be more Eubank, only because you think it'd generate a bit more like casual fans coming for Eubank. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I know Smith sells a lot of I don't know how many tickets does he even have to sell? I guess a lot of people will go and watch Smith if he could headline the. Now that people enjoy, like when he was headlining at the Echo with Frank Warren back in the day, do you remember? And then did he go to Eddie and do a couple headliners? I don't feel like he did. I feel like Eddie, he only really had like quite big fights, didn't he? When he was headlining, definitely there under Frank, they didn't sell well, but I feel like tickets for boxing weren't selling well then anyway. All of them, like even Crawler would get like, I remember the Crawler Murray fight at the Manchester Arena, and that only got about 7,000-8,000, and that was you thinking two local lads, and they tried to do the football like Manchester versus Spring. Obviously, Crawler went on to sell well more at the Manchester Arena, but the Crawler Murray fight was only sold like 6,000-7,000, no more than 6, probably 7,000-8,000. And a fucking thousand of them were Josh Warrington fans. I've never seen it walk at the boxing like that in my life, mate. All the Leeds fans were the United fans. Like Eddie Earn surely had to have been just taking the piss doing that, putting Josh Warrington on you're promoting the card as Man City versus Man United. Crawler, biggest United fan ticket seller probably in Manchester at the time. I know Murray. I don't think Murray was that massive a City fan, was he? But anyway, and you put Josh Warrington with his ticket selling ability and who his fans out on the same card. You had one fucking block, the whole block of all these Josh Warrington fans, the full block sold, and just surrounded by fucking Manx who hated them. And they're all pissed on at ass, and there still is strength in numbers, so they're singing full lead songs for ages. No, Josh Warrington ended up getting put on well early. He got changed. He was fighting Rendell Monroe, and he was definitely supposed to go on later, and they put him on early. And in fairness, the Leeds fans did bolt when Warrington won. But I used to have a video on my phone, and on the video there's like, because we're all just fucking pissing outside, me and my mates. We were at the very front row as well. I won't say her name, but my mate I used to work with, but bear in mind, we would have been like early 20s, but she was an old woman I worked with. She won't want me to name her name because of what she did, but one of the sickest people ever, and she does watch the live chats and stuff. And so as it's all kicking off, we had front row seats of the thingy, the fucking, what's it called? The front row of the bottom tier before the floor seats, yeah. We had all that front row and the one behind, like we had like 20 tickets between us. And so we was in a good spot, really, because things weren't really coming to us because there's a barrier stop in the front where it was all kicking off from us, with obviously all the people in the floor seats that must have been, obviously people had bought like more expensive ones off Crawler, more expensive ones off Warrington. So, but we could see all that, but a barrier was stopping it from getting to us. And then the main fight between the fans was probably about 6-7 rows up. So, like, we were just watching all that as well. We didn't need to involve ourselves whatsoever. It was nothing to do with our beef. But then my mate, so this guy kept falling into us and stuff, because some lad was pushing him into us and hitting him and pushing him into us. So I think he was fuming. So when that guy got his back to us, this is the mum and everything, sickest ever. She right up to him. Right up the guy from over the barrier. Sickest thing ever. So her husband's going sick. I can't say his name as well. One of the sickest, nicest men ever. Her husband's going sick. So then they have to get off because someone actually asked, said, "Where's your friend?" Because one of the security seen it. They seen that, because where we was literally, we were next to the stairs. So there was a guy there there was a security guy there that was checking people, going, if you had like to get onto standing, and then if you wanted to go back and get a bevy or whatever, or go mingle. One of them was stood next to us, so he was like there through the whole thing, like well out of his depth, didn't know what to do. But one of the things he did see was my mate. The thing he smacked him, so they had to get off. They missed the Crawler fight. He smacked the big juice head. Oh, that was funny. The biggest kickoff I've ever seen. And on that video, you see someone with a chair swing with someone for a chair, then throw it at them, and then randomly someone with a crutch attacking someone else. It's the sickest. The funniest, sickest fucking... That was not the sickest. There's definitely been sicker kickoffs, but a funny kickoff. Funny enough, never seen Josh Warrington on another fucking Crawler card ever again after that. What was fucking idiot? I'm thinking, stupidest thing. ever. I say that all the time. Alex has started proper ripping me for it. I always go, the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. What's the one that I'll say if I'm going if I'm talking about like a footballer, I'll say he's the fucking worst keeper we've ever had. It's like there's been so many bad keepers. How could Kelleher be the worst keeper we've ever had? He is a bad keeper though. We need to stick on. I thought it was the element of the live chat, the people in the comments who make me sway off topics, but it's just me. I just can't stay on topic. What's he saying? Your iPhone cannot be backed up. See, this is why so for the first right, get this year, I've got a new phone because I'm mute. So this phone, right? Snooze alarm, haircut. You know what I mean? I've got a haircut. This is how big tomorrow is. I've got a haircut booked at 3:00, and that's how some people get their haircut. You know what I mean? So I've got a new phone, yeah. That little beast. What is it? 16? No, not 16. That 15 Pro Max. I always, every time, I've been doing it pretty much all my life. Get the phone behind. So that's a 14, and I've had it a year. So every year I swap my phone, but to the year behind. It's nice because you get a new phone every year, but you don't pay. And then it's still a new phone to you, and you're buzzing because it's new. And then, but you don't have to pay the fucking like whatever it is for the. And then, because what most people do is get the sickest phone ever, and then have it for 2 years. Or my neighbour's just got a took a contract out for 3 years, 3-year contract. Do you remember when it went from? So I remember when contracts phones first come out, and it was 12 months. And remember when they went from 12 to 18 months, and people go, "Yeah, I'm on an 18-month contract." You think 18 months? You're not going to notice. But that was obviously before iPhones. That was when it was like you'd swap your fucking Sony Ericsson for like a sicker Nokia or something, so you would be bored in a year. I don't ever really keep a phone longer than a year, but I like it. I like swapping my phone every year, but I wouldn't be able to. There's no way I would like fucking be forking out to swap my phone every year to the sickest one. And I feel like what I do on a phone, I just go on Instagram, watch YouTube, what do I really do? Text, FaceTime. I feel like all the sick extra shit they add, I probably never even use. I probably don't even know it exists. I just get a nice looking phone. I would have probably kept this phone though for another good 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You know, I've had it like a year and a month now. But look, the camera's just fucked, and because I never got it fixed now, the whole thing's fucked, and the cameras are just terrible. Like you literally can only take pictures if it's on one, it's all blurry, and if you do videos, it's all blurry. So you have to zoom out to 0.9, but then it distorts things and it's not as clear. Do you know, like the zoom? So for the last 3 months, I've been taking pictures on it, but I've never took a good picture on my phone. It's impossible. Unless you actually want a wide span picture of it, like something good, then that works. But don't know what it is and that doesn't. And then so my new phone's fine, but because I would never pay 99p a month, I've never done it. Always just refused to do it. I do kind of like it, but this one's ended up being long. Like every time I get a new phone, I have to set it up as new because I only have the minimum whatever thing you get from Apple. You pay how much for the phone, and I pay how much for internet and shit, and I pay how much for a fucking after a SIM only unlimited thing. I should have to pay for fucking more things to sit somewhere, so I just never do it. Just out of I don't even know what's it out of. Just fucking. But then it's 200 gig. I've got the phone's fucking like a terabyte or something. So why can't everything just save on the phone and send over? Anyway, I have to start a new phone every time. So I've had this phone now for a week, well, for 5 days, and I'm still not using it yet because it takes so long. But I did finally this morning lie in bed for about 2 hours. I've been up since like 6, downloading every app that I need. And it's nice because I feel like that app is full of fucking. I reckon I've got 60 apps on my old phone that I'm still using now. That are, do you know where you can't even use them? You'd have to re-download them. We'll never use them, probably use them. So it's nice to have a clean up. Whereas if I just transferred it all over like I've done in the past, like years ago, when it wouldn't take up that memory, I feel like you don't really feel like you've got a new phone. But now I can't wait to use it, and I'm gonna wait till I've got a case because I'm not breaking the fucking thing again. I've got my little thing came today, my little glass, but I put it on terribly. Look, there's a bubble there. I'm using quite good at them, but that might have to come off. But the sad thing is, it was a pack of 2. I did buy 4 though. It was a pack of 2, and I fucking cracked one of them as well. So I'm 2 down already out of it. So that's why I'm sort of like hoping that bubble goes, so I don't have to waste another. But I feel like it's gonna have to get bin. How am I talking about fucking new phones? Right, Eubank Benn. So I'm buzzing. But do you know what everyone's saying? It's sad. I don't. Is it? Obviously, it's sad because, but it's definitely added. Has it added it? Well, would it be better if he was there? Him and Ben don't hate each other. Eubank's that. just talking about it themselves on about Eubank Senior not being there. Eubank and Benn don't really hate each other. So then again, like, that would have been, imagine how much beef you could have created and how much bigger it would have been. If Fingy did the egg thing, Benn chokes Fingy, so then Eubank Senior's like, nah, that's it. It's back on between me and you. You fucking put your hands on my son. And then it'd be a double beef. But how right, and this is one of the, I very rarely agree with Eddie Hearn, but he's saying Fingy's unwell. Of course, how can people not understand he's unwell? He's been unwell. I was saying this 5 years ago when he used to go walking around with a sheriff's badge, and now he wears a sheriff cap. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously been ill for years. Must be like, it's obviously CT or something like that, or brain damage, and maybe just mentally ill. But he was always weird, wasn't he? He was weird back then, but because he was younger, and I feel like, and he was a boxer and he was winning, and like, he was never normal. He's never been normal, has he? He's always been a bit weird. Like, even the fucking accent he puts on his shit. How has he got that accent? He's put it on that. He's put it on all his life. That's his voice now, and his kids even picked it up. His kids picked up a fake accent that he's copied off his dad. Do you know what I mean? He's been fucked all his life, but now he's fucked. The stuff he's saying doesn't even make sense. Right, first of all, do you know how much of a deadbeat dad you've got to be yet? And it doesn't matter if you provided for your kids all your life, which he hasn't. He was a fucking terrible dad. If you go and look actually at the history of him being a dad, like the actual reportings from back in the day and the things he did, shipping some of his kids off to America and that, he was a fucking terrible dad. He is an awful dad. He's one of the who taught you that? Well, he was saying that. Who taught you that about fucking slapping fucking thing? How would you know, mate? You wouldn't know anybody who taught him for most of his fucking life. But anyway. You know, that's just, maybe you sent him to America to get a better life. That's part of being a dad in a different way, yeah. Do you know how much of a fucking horrendous dad you've got to be when your son, it doesn't matter what you think of him. I don't like Eubank Jr. I find him cringy and everything. Can't stand the guy, right? But do you know how bad dad you've got to be to go against your son making money? And your son is even if you've done that, you've started talking down the event, saying the event's an embarrassment and all this, yeah, you're going against what you're going against. Bear in mind, your son is a benefactor of this event. The better, obviously, it's quite clearly he's got a very good deal in this. You would say at least a 50-50 deal in terms of revenue splits and everything, yeah. So if the better this event does, I know he's going to get paid crazy money because it's a ring show anyway, but he will be on pay-per-view points, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And gate points and everything. The better this fight does, the more your son's going to make. And you're talking it down like, what? And then, to ignore that, that's just, that to me blows my mind. But ignore that. And then fight week of this, where your son's literally right, you're saying about, worrying about Conor Benn and all this, but your son's going to be, I feel like anyone who moans about weight and that, about this rehydration clause, it's disingenuous because he signed the contract. Chris Eubank signed. And bear in mind, this fight was made where Chris Eubank was at a place of power, really. And obviously, there's no real fight for him to make this much money. But the first one, Benn, he had failed a drug test like Benn, and Benn can't go anywhere. Eubank can get a big fight. Eubank could probably fill out and get a decent game from an arena, maybe not a stadium, but an arena for the Smith trilogy. Smith's a big name. He's a good talker. I'd watch it. I'd watch them fight again. Like to see what happened, because obviously I think Smith would beat him again if Smith was fully fit and Eubank's fully fit. I think Smith wins again handily again. So a lot of people who don't like Eubank would watch it because I think he'd win. Eubank, and it's a trilogy, so he's got other fights. Benn has got no other fights. You even worry about putting Benn in for a world. So Eddie Hearn made out that because Benn was so high with the WBA or whatever, that he could get him a world title for it. But Eddie, if you think we see something in boxing, you've got to understand Eddie Hearn obviously sees it. I know you can get close to a fight like he probably thinks Benn's going to win, even though as a boxing person, you shouldn't think Benn's going to win. Well, that's because he's heavily invested in Benn, you know what I mean? But he's still, you'll think logically about things. Like he probably knows deep down, if I roll the dice for Benn in a world title fight, even to Barrios, you know, because that's how bad I think Benn can be. Even to Barrios, if you roll the dice for a world title fight and he loses, it's terrible for you. It's terrible for him and it's terrible for you. Because even though you say, he dropped back down the levels, but I think there's good British Championship level fighters in England, British fighters who could beat Benn. So how do you drop down the levels safely? You can't really with him. So that's why they've had to cash out with Eubank. Whereas there is other fights for Eubank. Obviously, he's not going to get a fight this big. And that's what the biggest. Anyway, don't know how I got on that. I'm still talking about Chris Senior. So your son's in the biggest fight. Yeah, he's literally. It's my alarm to go back my haircut. So he's literally in the biggest fight he's going to be in. He's going to go and fight another man who's going to be a lot fitter than him. I think in terms of just walking and fighting at his normal weight and everything, not have to deplete himself at any point. And you're like doing things like saying it's disgusting and all this, because which you know is all week now, everyone's going to ask your son about it all the time. So he's cutting weight and everything, he's going to be aggy. You're then taking, like, you're altering his mood and affecting his fight week when you're his dad. I can't get my head around it. What? There can be no beef. You either, and I think he said this as well. I heard it this week, but I knew this because I've seen him on Ariel's show so many times. No matter how much shit Eubank Senior says about Junior all the time in the press, slags him off all the time. Junior will never slag him off on Ariel's show multiple times. Ariel asked about the relationship, and he's like, "Oh, like I'd love to sort it out." And like he'll either say, "Like I love my dad," and all blah blah blah, and would like to sort it out because. But I think just because Senior wanted to be in control, like, come on, we all remember them first fights. Do you think Junior would be where he is now if Senior had said? If it's obviously he's been bouncing around, and he doesn't really take it serious as that, but with his dad there, remember the Billy Joe Saunders fight where his dad was literally just walking 5 yards away from him and staring at him, not saying nothing to Junior. Well, he's getting his ass pasted. He's in the biggest fight of his life. He's just looking at him. And if anyone remembers that one as well, Eddie alluded to this at the time. Was it Eddie? Someone in the IFL videos at the time. His dad took that fight on a terrible deal because his dad was skint and he needed the money from his percentage from Junior. And I think Junior got 70 grand or something for that fight when he could have been on a well bigger fight, and it was on that massive card. It was. Do you remember that card? It always makes me laugh. It's like far for Frank Warren to come. That was like the first show Frank Warren sold out when he jumped over to Box Nation in years, and they fucking couldn't stop telling everyone about how it was a sellout, and it wasn't even in like a massive venue. The Trezoraverse, I was 5 ton on that. They were back in my bad betting days. 5 ton. That was part of my bad, but it was a threefold accumulator. Billy Joe Saunders, Crawford definitely fought early in the morning, and Chisora to beat Fury in the rematch. I think how bad that bet looks now, but at the time, anyone who's a proper boxing fan who was watching boxing properly at that time will tell you that wasn't a terrible bet at the time. I said I wanted to do 20 minutes, and I wanted to go through the whole undercard and Eubank and Benn, and I'm definitely not going to do any more because I need to go to the gym. I've definitely spoken about Eubank and Benn a lot more. But yeah, I don't think you can moan about the rehydration. And everyone's saying it as well. People saying $1 million for such a small. It is such a small amount, but listen, you've missed weight. If that was for his fucking IBO belt, the fight wouldn't be sanctioned now for a world title fight. For a world title fight, it wouldn't be for the belt. Or only Ben would be able to win that belt. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've missed weight. You signed that contract thinking you wouldn't miss weight. You made weight in Saudi the other finger. You've made a 160 against Liam Smith twice. So you signed that thinking, I've made weight how many times? I'm not going to miss it. Don't know if maybe he's just getting older. And so, people say overnight sometimes things that you used to do easy get a little bit harder. Because trust me, if he could have made it, he'd have made it. Eddie Hearn saying if he'd have done it, maybe he could have reacted better to make it. But he would have tried to make it. Look how terrible he looks, you know what I mean, in that face-off with Ben. So he has tried to make it. Because who wants to pay $500,000 for fucking, what is it, half an ounce? Half an ounce, mate. What is it? What's that, 14 grams? You're paying $500,000, which you know goes straight to Ben, who you hate. And you think how much he cost you money for his fuck up in the first fight. You lost loads. I know Eddie Hearn lost loads, but you lost loads as well. And now you fucked up in the second fight, which is well minor, and he gets $500,000 for it. So you'd be fucking gutted. But I can't moan about it. You signed the contract. You signed the rehydration thing as well. I'm seeing everyone. So there's on the thingy that popped up on my what's it called? What are they called? And you slide them on Instagram. Oh, reels, fucking hell. The reel that popped up. My whole algorithm at the minute on Insta is just cooking and Ben Eubank. UFC Kansas City's coming on. I've not even spoken. I didn't speak about it at all in the thingy. I don't care about speaking. I'm not going to speak about it now. But I would. I would speak about it now, but I ain't got time. And do I even care about the actual card? But yeah, I want Eubank to win so much, and I can't believe it because I've never wanted Eubank to win a fight in my life. Ever. Eubank's never been in a fight, and I've wanted him to win. I've actively supported against him his whole career. UFC Kansas City. I definitely looking forward to the main event, but I won't be able to catch it because it just doesn't make sense to wake up for that when I've got such a big day. Fight card. Yeah, Machado, Gary Pratchett. Oh, no, Anthony Smith. I want to see Anthony Smith's last fight. Do you know, it's actually a banger, but it's not a banger I'd wake up. If I was doing nothing on a Sunday and I fancied getting up, I would get up for that, but no, I don't need to get up for that. 24 hours. All of my mates are just so excited about tomorrow. Liverpool are going to win the league 20 fucking times. Imagine Old Trafford next season. 20 times. Right, I'm going. Yeah, talk about everything. Did I speak about everything? I've still got my live chat notes from yesterday. Do you know what makes me laugh? I'd said that I write a headline so like I can put it in my mind. And then if I don't speak about it, I just leave it over to the next one. I've still got De Bruyne, diet 31st, my diet on the 31st. We're now on the 28th of the thing. Yeah, I'm almost a full month later. I've not dieted a single day. Oh, right, I'm going. Everyone enjoy the show. Eubank, Benn, buy it on DAZN. I'll be paying my pay-per-view price because